Hello children, today we will see the nutrition, we have started yesterday the fourth lesson, that is nutrition in living organisms, and today we will see the next part of our lesson, and the part is we are starting from this find out what is chemosynthesis. So the chemosynthesis is the biological conversion of one or more carbon containing molecules. What they told you, the chemosynthesis is a biological conversion of one or more carbon containing molecules, usually carbon dioxide or the methane, and nutrients into organic matter using the oxidation of organic compounds. Means some plants are there, they are, what happens, they are performing the chemosynthesis, and in that process what they are doing, the organic compounds, in this process organic compounds by bacteria, synthesis of organic compounds by bacteria and other living organisms using energy derived from the reaction involving inorganic chemicals, typically in absence of sunlight. So all of you just note down this means definition. You just write down the definition whatever I told you. Again I am going to repeat is, what is chemosynthesis? The chemosynthesis of organic compounds by bacteria or the other living organisms using energy derived from reactions involving inorganic chemicals, typically in absence of sunlight. Means where there is a sunlight is absence, at that places some plants, what happens, they are also preparing their own food, and what, for that process they are take the help of the bacteria, and this process is called as a chemosynthesis. Okay, in short it is the definition of it. Now so which plants are there? The plants which grows in the where there is a less sunlight, in that places or absence of sunlight, that region inside this chemosynthesis is going on. Okay, now we will see the next part. Let's recall part. So which are the different substances excreted by plants and why? As you know that gum, then resin, okay, gum, and that so the excretory products of the plants are, what I told you, that is the rubber is the, what, it is a latex, it is excreted. Actually what we are thinking, milkweed means what? Rui is there. No, when we pluck the leaf of the rui, then what we see in that, the whitish color milk like substance is coming out of this plant. When we pluck at that place, the milk like substance is coming out of, and that is the latex, and that is the excretory product of that plant. With this gum, some plants like babul, what happens, we see the babul and neem, okay, there is a gum, okay, and that gum is also the excretory product of the plants. After that some plants like calocasia leaves are there. On it, what a calocasia leaves means, alu leaves. Alu vadi we are eating, no? That alu vadi. If sometimes what happens, when we are eating that alu vadi, that time our throat is there. There is a itching, okay? And that because of that itching, this itching is happen because of the calcium oxalate is there. It is present in the leaves of the which plants, like that calocasia, and that is the excretory substance of that plant, and that is what happens. It is a needle like, and that's why what happens, our throat is itching, okay, and these are the excretory substance of these plants. After that we will see the next part of the lesson, that is the plants produces carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. Plant produce carbohydrates, okay, carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. Carbohydrates means what? If you are eating, we are eating, which things we are eating? Tell me now. Jawar bhakri, then wheat chapati we are eating, afterwards rice, okay, these things we are eating, and in these substances, jawar, bajri, okay, wheat, then rice, inside it what is present? The carbohydrates are present, and these carbohydrates are formed or produced by the process of photosynthesis. Carbohydrates are made from the carbon, hydrogen, and the oxygen. Okay, now I will write the formula of the what? Glucose. Its formula is C6H12O6. C6H12O6. So what is present in it? Carbon. Here it is carbon. H for hydrogen, here it is hydrogen, and oxygen, here it is oxygen. Means carbohydrates means it is a combination of carbon, hydrogen, and the oxygen. Okay, next proteins are made from carbon. What they told you, proteins are there, that is also made up of carbon. hydrogen, oxygen and the nitrogen. These things are present in the proteins. How do plants obtain nitrogen necessary for the synthesis of synthesis of proteins? So that nitrogen is very important for the growth of the plant. That nitrogen is very important for the growth of the plant. But problem is that nitrogen, as you know, that in air inside which substance is more extent it is there, that is the nitrogen. It is in a more quantity regarding to other gases in the air. Then also these plants are not able to absorb this nitrogen which is present in the air directly. So for that purpose what happens, they are absorb the nitrogen compounds but not the nitrogen. So when that lightning strikes in the sky, no, at that time nitrogen which is present in the air, what happens, it converts into nitrates. Means NO2, NO3, these groups are formed and it dissolves in the rainwater and it falls on the ground, and at that time what happens, that dissolved nitrogen is absorbed by the plants with water. Okay, so that is one process. Or some plants have the leguminous plants. Have you seen the methi? Your mother is, when she is kneading it, at that time what happens, the methi roots are there, it has a extension, it has these types of, what happens, nodules are there. What we said to this, these are the nodules. Okay, these are the nodules, and these nodules inside some bacteria is present. What is present in it? Bacteria are present, and that bacteria are there, they are nitrogen fixing bacteria are there. Which are bacteria? They have the role, what, they are fixing the nitrogen. So these bacteria, what happens, convert the atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrogen compounds. That first I told you, when lightning strikes in the sky, that time what happens, nitrogen convert into the nitrogen compound, and with the rainwater it falls on the ground. And second way is that this is biological, and that is atmospheric nitrogen fixation. And here in this process what happens, the nitrogen, okay, is there, these bacteria are there, what they are doing, they are convert the nitrogen into nitrogenous compound, and that nitrogenous compounds plants using for their growth. Yes, then next, so air contains gaseous nitrogen. What they told you, air contains nitrogen, gaseous nitrogen, however cannot utilize gaseous nitrogen. The plants are not able to utilize, to get the nitrogen from the air. So it need to be, what happens, it need to be fixed or converted into the compound. Fixation of nitrogen occurs by biological and atmospheric method. These are the two methods, biological method and the atmospheric method. Okay, first we will see the biological fixation of the nitrogen. Okay, so in these, two different types of microorganisms can bring about biological nitrogen fixation. Two types of microorganisms are there, and they bring out the biological nitrogen fixation. And where they are present, just I told you, root nodules. When your mother, what happens, he is cleaning the methi, at that time you see these types of extension, I told you that, and this is nothing but the, what, this is the root nodules, and in that root nodules, their root nodules are present in the leguminous plants. Okay, this plant methi, these plants are, we are called as a leguminous plants. So plant contain rhizobium. So in that walls are there, no, these walls, in that walls inside, what is present in that wall inside here, or in this nodules inside, rhizobium bacteria is present, and this rhizobium is, what happens, is performing role of the nitrogen fixation. These microorganisms absorb atmospheric nitrogen. These microorganisms absorb nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, and convert them into their nitrates. Nitrates means what? NO2, NO3. In this they are converting this nitrogen, and that nitrogen, what happens, this is called as a nitrogen compounds. Okay, and that nitrogen plants are able to absorb from this bacteria. And one more microorganism which is present in the soil, and that is called as a azotobacter. Azotobacter, the pronunciation of it is the azotobacter, and here rhizobium. These are the names of the bacteria. How your name is there in that way, this is the bacteria's name. Rhizobium and azotobacter are present in the soil, and they convert atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrates. Okay, so this is the nitrogen fixation, and this is the nitrogen fixation done by the microorganisms. Okay, and these microorganisms are nothing but they are the living things, and that's why it is called as a biological nitrogen fixation. Now the next part is the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Do you know inside it is given? Okay, so what is atmospheric nitrogen? Just I told you, when lightning is there, okay, lightning or thunderbolts. So this is the lightning happens when it happens in the rainy season. In that rainy season, what happens? The lightning goes on, and that time what happens? This causes atmospheric nitrogen and oxygen to react with each other. So in atmosphere, you know that gases are present. So nitrogen and oxygen are there. They combine with each other. When the lightning, what happens? Takes place at that time, when nitrogen and oxygen combines with each other, and what forms? The nitric oxide, that is NO, and again it forms a nitrogen dioxide, that is NO2. And this nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide, these two, what happens when it combines with the they both are able to what? Dissolve in the rainwater. So the nitrogen dioxide dissolve in rainwater and convert nitric acid, means convert into nitric acid, means HNO3. Okay, what is that reaction? H2O. Okay, this is H2O, and when it reacts with NO, otherwise NO2, what happens? Suppose it reacts with NO2, and what it forms? HNO3. Okay, this NO2, the reaction is not balanced reaction actually, and balancing is not for you, but when the combination takes place, what happens? It forms a nitric acid, which gets added to the soil along with the rainwater, and plant use this nitrogen for their growth. Okay, so in this way, for the growth of the plants, what happens? Nitrogen is needed, and its need is fulfilled by two ways. First is the biological method, and another one is the which method? Atmospheric nitrogen fixation method. Okay, now we will see the next type of a nutrition, that is symbiotic nutrition. Which type of nutrition it is? Symbiotic nutrition. Okay, see here, in some cases, what happens? In some cases, two or more than two different types of plant live together. What they told you? Two or more than two different types of plant live together to fulfill their needs of nutrition. So protection, support, etc. with each other helps. This type of nutrition is called as a symbiotic nutrition. So for what happens? To fulfill their needs. Which is the need? As you know that what is the needs of plant? The nutrition, okay, protection and support. For these purposes, whatever, they are dependent on one another, means they are helping to one another, and that's why this type of nutrition is called as a symbiotic nutrition. Some fungi grow around the roots of the some other plants. What they told you, some fungi are there, they grow around the roots of some other plants, and these plants supply nutrients to the fungi. In turns, the fungi supply mineral and water. Means what happens? Some fungi, what I told you, its roots grow another plant. So plants are there. Plants, they are giving the which? Nutrients to fungi, and fungi are providing mineral and water to this plant. So this is symbiotic. They are understanding each other's need, and what happens? They are helping each other for the living. And this type of nutrition is called as a symbiotic nutrition. Okay, some fungi, algae live together. The fungi provides the water minerals as well as the shelter to the algae. In return, the algae provide food to the fungi, and lichen is the example of symbiosis between the algae and the fungi. Okay, so this lichen is there, it is the example of it. Okay, now we will see the video which shows the symbiotic nutrition in the plants. So see this video for better understanding.
Symbiotic plants. Symbiosis. When two organisms live together by sharing shelter and nutrients and mutually.
If you see these pictures, you will notice that here is the main tree, here is the tree, and on that tree these fungi are grown on it. So what happens? The plant, they are providing shelter to them, and they are taking what? Water and minerals from this fungi. Okay, and so what happens? For living to, what happens? They are helping to each other, and that's why we are called it as a symbiotic nutrition in the plants. Okay,
helping each other, their association is called symbiosis or symbiotic relationship, and the organisms are called symbionts. In lichens, an alga and a fungus live together and derive nutrients from each other. The alga, being autotrophic, makes food for both by photosynthesis, while the fungus provides shelter, water, and minerals to the alga. For example, roots of leguminous plants like gram, beans, etc. contain nodules having rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, which are used by leguminous plants. Rhizobium depends on the plant for its food.
So here it is the
Thus,
rhizobium. I told you that
leguminous
nitrogen
plants
fixations.
and rhizobium have a symbiotic relationship.
Now you saw that how the plants and the algae help each other for their what in their living. What happens by means helping each other by what happens they are providing, they are fulfill their needs of nutrition, protection and support by helping each other. Okay, so lichen is the example. Now next part is the heterotrophic plants. Heterotrophic plants, as you know that the autotrophic and heterotrophics, as we know that all the plants what we are thinking they are autotrophic, but some plants are there, those are heterotrophic, means they are depending on the other plants or animals for their living. So which are those that we will see? The heterotrophic plants do not contain chlorophyll, means in their body the chlorophyll is absent. As you know that chlorophyll is present, then only in photosynthesis we had seen, I shown you video also, inside it the chlorophyll is there. It helps to those plants for what purposes? The chlorophyll, in presence of chlorophyll they are producing their own food, but this plant doesn't have the chlorophyll, and what happens, and due to this what happens, they are performing the these are called as a heterotrophic plants, and they are performing the heterotrophic nutrition. How do heterotrophic plants live, and from where do get their food? So see here, have you seen a yellow wire like leafless climber? Okay, so that I will show you. First see here what is given, that have you seen yellow wire like leafless climber plant growing on a big tree? So tree is there, and on that tree the yellow color wire like projections are there. No, it is grown, and what is its name? And the name of it is the what? These are the plants which are, these are the heterotrophic plant. The plant that grow on the body of other plants, plants that grow on the body of other plants to obtain food is called as a parasitic plants. For example, Loranthus and Cascata. Yellow color projection they told you, no, it is nothing but it is a Cascata. Due to the absence of chlorophyll, what they told you, due to the absence of chlorophyll, the Cascata is completely dependent on the host plant, and hence it is said to be the completely parasitic plant. So it is called as a completely parasitic plant. And you must also notice that Loranthus also grows on the trees. Okay. Now in this video we will see how the Cascata attack on a plants. Okay, it is actually a heterotrophic plant, as you know that, and what happens when it attack on the tomato, then how it attack, that we will see now. See here. See, these plants are growing and Cascatas are also growing. This is plant actually. Yellow it is looking, it is absence of chlorophyll. So this daughter is there, that cascata is there. These yellow projections are there looking in the video. This yellow, these are wire-like structures. This is actually it is a plant, and because of absence of chlorophyll it is looking like yellow, and here is the host plant. Okay, green color it is looking, no? It is get covered by this cascata. So in this way they attack on this other plant and they are getting the nutrition from those plants. Okay, and that's why they are called as a heterotrophic plants. See, inside the plants are there. Here in this picture also, how the Loranthus grows on the host plant, it is shown here. If you see this, you will notice that this is the host tree. These are the barks of the or the branches of host tree, and this tree is grow on this plant and it absorbs the nutrition which is produced by the plants for itself. And what happens, it absorbs it and it grows on it and it fulfills his need. Okay, so this is the heterotrophic nutrition in the plant. So today we had seen the symbiote. First of all, we seen the nitrogen fixation, two types of nitrogen fixation, biological and the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. Next is the symbiotic nitrogen fixation and heterotrophic plants that we had seen. So the next part of the lesson we'll see in our next lecture. So today we will stop here only. So okay.